on the north side of Oak Ridge, now northeast side. It looks like that wind is going to come very close just to the south of Clinton. You can see just to the north of Hardin Valley, that is where the rotation is. So really, as you go up, Pellissippi is over here. As you go up Pellissippi, this moved through the Oak Ridge area, and now it's in that it's just across the Knox County line. So this is the Knox County line right here, and it's just over the county line into Anderson County. So if you're in any areas, and that's more of the Knox County line right there. I know sometimes that can be hard to see, but that is the area that the rotation is heading, that northeast movement at about 25 miles per hour. This may skip a portion of Knoxville as far as the city itself, the strongest of the storm. There's a look at Pellissippi at Dutchtown right now, and you can see there are no problems so far. Travel is okay right now in those areas on Pellissippi. It looks like the worst of the storm is now past Pellissippi, so that is certainly some good news as we continue to monitor what the Weather Service is saying. It looks like a train spotter in Oak Ridge, Robertsville Middle School. They are sheltering in place, winds estimated at 50 miles per hour. So that is from a trained spotter, ham operator in the Oak Ridge area. Thankfully, the kids there at Robertsville Middle, all the schools, it is 318, a lot of schools just letting out, or maybe some kids still there. So until again, we get rid of this severe risk, we want to make sure that those kids stay safe. So it's a good call to let them stay inside and shelter and not be picked up, because normally a lot of times this is pickup time for a lot of schools. I definitely don't want to be out in this when you have the potential for a tornado out there. So this is the circulation right now. And again, it's moving pretty quickly, 25, 30 miles per hour to the northeast, going to bypass Clinton just to the south. And so we're going to watch this area very closely. Again, crossing over into I-75. This is the latest track. Ben's putting a continual track on this so that we make sure you folks in any of these areas are covered and ready to go. Again, that's some of the bigger communities within those areas, and this is going to it's impacting Edgewood Heights at the moment. So right now, hopefully you folks are in your safe place, in your shelter there. Again, this is going to move just past the northern side of Hardin Valley. So Hardin Valley, I think the majority of Hardin Valley is going to miss this. Bearden, I think you're going to miss this. As we zoom out, I know a lot of people have questions when we have a tornado warning. Is my location going to be hit? And a lot of you may, if you hear a tornado siren, you may think, okay, hey, is there a tornado in Knox County? It's not for all of Knox County. This is the view right now of the cell. Look at that. That's the view from downtown Knoxville. You can actually see the edge of the storm. It looks like there might be a little base lowering right there. Ben, what do you think about this? Yeah. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a base low. And when we say that, that means that a lot of times tornadoes come out of what we call a wall cloud. So this could be either the developing wall cloud. This could be where we've seen a tornado. It looks like it's rain wrapped, so it's hard to tell if there's something right there. It's still a little bit grainy, but either way, there may be something here that we want to pay close attention to. There have been no reports so far of a actual tornado on the ground. So the good news is no reports of a tornado on the ground. However, that doesn't mean that there isn't one there. There could be one that's rain wrapped. There's the circulation. It looks like in the latest scan, I'm seeing those are what we call bins. So those little bins, when you see them right next to each other, those are, that shows that there's a little bit tighter couplet to that. And so just east of Oak Ridge right now, yeah, there's at least some very strong winds in that circulation. So again, we're keeping a close eye on it. And Ben, if you need to look at anything, go ahead and you can pull up your system as well. And we're going to both continue to monitor this. Again, a tornado warning continues for portions of Knox County. So let me just go over this one more time. What's that?
Storm's weakening a little.
Okay, good. Yeah, storm may be weakening just a bit. This is radar indicated rotation. So as of 3:15, so about as of 6 minutes ago, this was a tornado located near Clinton, moving east at about 35 miles per hour. And again, this tornado warning continues for these areas: southeastern Morgan, northeastern Roane. They canceled it, so good news for you folks. It's all canceled there, but it continues for portions of Knox and Anderson County. So central Anderson and central and northern Knox County. This goes until looks like 3:45. So again, we're continuing to watch this, moving east at 35 miles per hour. It continues until 3:45. If you are in Knox County, you need to be in your safe place, especially northern Knox County. If you could put the reflectivity back on there, Ben, real quick, and zoom out just a little bit. And I want to kind of give you the bigger picture. So this way you can, this is perfect. You can see here's downtown Knoxville, here's I-40. This is going to stay just north of I-40. Halls, you're in the bullseye for this. They may extend this tornado warning out. They haven't said yet, so it may be extended out for extreme north Knox County, but it's something that we're watching closely, again, in those areas. If you are in Clinton, you are getting the heavy rain, maybe some hail with that storm, as well as it continues to push off to the north and to the east. But if you are in portions of Jefferson and Granger counties, I want you folks to stay on high alert, be weather alert for the potential for either a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning with this. Again, Maynardville, you're probably going to get a lot of heavy rain, gusty wind, maybe some hail with this as well, but the tornado risk is down here. It's not as strong as it once was. It has weakened a little bit, but there still is enough of a threat there, and it looks a little broader based on what I'm seeing. The rotation doesn't look as tight on the latest scan. Yeah, it's very broad. It is very close to Clinton, and it's moving again northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So if you are in any of these areas between, I'd say, Halls and really, I'd say North Knoxville, so 640. Let's say you're at 640. Maybe you're at work still. There's a lot of folks still at work in the Oak Ridge area. In fact, one of my good friends works in the Oak Ridge. Let me see what he's saying, because I think he was texting me just a minute ago. Let's see. They had rain and wind, but nothing major in his area of Oak Ridge. So so far no reports of anything that I'm seeing as far as a possible tornado, but the only reports I'm seeing out of Oak Ridge right now are high winds that they had, also maybe some small hail in some of those areas as well. But if you are anywhere along the northern Knox line here, all the way down to 640, you need to stay put, stay weather alert, and we're going to stay with you until this tornado warning expires. Or if they extend it further east, we'll also stay with you here. Again, there's the rotation, a little bit broad still. There's the latest time. Again, Ben putting on the times there: 3:45 in Halls, 3:53 in Gibbs, 4:01 in Corrigan, and it looks like 4:07 in Strawberry Plains. Of course, if you are in Strawberry Plains right now, I don't think you're in that actual tornado warning box. It is still further to your west. They've actually peeled off a bit of the watch to the back side of this. So if you are in places, and let me take a closer look here. If you are in Oakdale, Harriman, you guys are all clear. You're done with this. No more tornado risk for you. Oliver Springs, you are now all clear of the tornado risk. Tornado risk is now to your east. So those are the areas that are now all clear. Let me see what the latest is from the National Storm is weakened, not planning on resuming a tornado or severe downstream, but will continue to watch closely. So it looks like they're going to refrain from extending this tornado warning. So for now, you folks ahead of this in northern Knox, you should be okay unless this storm re-strengthens as we go, which it easily can. These storms, a lot of times they'll pulse up and down, and so you'll get it to weaken a little bit, and then sometimes it will start to strengthen within the next 30 minutes. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on the southern edge of this cell. You can see it as it was back to the west, coming out of parts of Cumberland County and portions of Roane County. It actually strengthened a good bit just before it hit Oak Ridge, and that's what prompted this tornado warning. Again, this tornado warning continues until 3:45. I think Oak Ridge, you're in the clear now. No more worries as far as a tornado risk there. I think you're all good. I think the main circulation has moved here just to the north of Karnes. In fact, it's just on the north side of Karnes. And from what I'm seeing, and Ben, you can chime in if you see anything different, but it looks like it's even broader and weaker than it was a minute ago.
Yeah, I think it's definitely weakened quite a bit. You want to see the camera again?
Yeah, show me. Yeah, let's see that camera one more time. And we can, so you can see that's the edge of the storm right there. That's it. From our downtown, this is our First Century bank camera. That's the edge, the kind of the bottom southwest edge of the storm. This is all heavy rain, maybe some hail as well, but certainly very heavy rain. That's what we call a big rain curtain or rain shaft. That one's huge with that one. And it's because this line, a lot of times you'll see these out by themselves and you can see both edges of the actual thunderstorm. You can't see the other edge of this one because it extends along a line much farther north. So again, this is moving over right now portions of North Knox County, and we oftentimes will watch that southwestern edge for, and that still looks like a little bit of a base lowering. I think there's rotational loft in this. I don't think we're seeing anything reach the ground right now. So that is certainly some good news. We would like to keep it that way with all of these storms if we can, because a lot of these will have the ability to rotate. It's the question of, will that actually drop to the ground? And I think later tonight we're going to see more of a damaging wind risk than a tornado risk with those storms as they come through. But this one's tapping in to the very warm, unstable air this afternoon, and that's why we had that risk. And again, you can see this is kind of a broad rotation, not very strong. So I think I agree with the National Weather Service that there probably just needs to be a severe thunderstorm warning with this for the areas that are further out. But again, there's the latest track. Ben Cathy putting that on the latest storm there. Again, Halls 345, Gibbs 354, Strawberry Plains at 408. So they're still monitoring that storm. If you're in Farragut, you're good. You are fine. You're not going to be impacted by this storm. If you're in South Knox, if you're in Bearden, this storm will stay to your north. The strongest part of this storm is pushing right now into northwest Knox. So let me pull up a couple of things here. I'm actually looking at a couple of different pieces of software just to see if I'm seeing anything different. Yeah, this really doesn't look that strong at all. In fact, I think they could probably let the tornado warning expire early, and they may decide to do that. It goes until technically 3:45, so it technically goes for another 16 minutes. However, again, the rotation has significantly weakened with this, and it is now pushing into portions of northern Knox County. And again, you can just see some of the areas. There's some of the areas that Ben has in the velocity within that couplet of that broad rotation. Again, this staying very far north of Bearden, South Doyle. No impacts for you folks. South Knox, you're good. If you're along North of I-40, especially north of the Mascot community, that's the area, Jefferson City, this is moving your way, so you folks could be impacted by this storm. If nothing else, damaging wind, maybe some small hail as well. But even that, I think it's been at maybe 50, 60 mile per hour winds at best with this. I think probably 40 to 50 is pretty standard. It is moving at a pretty good clip. So just the motion, the forward motion of these storms will give you some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. Notice up here to the north, we do have one severe thunder. Is that a severe thunderstorm warning? Yeah. Those two severe thunderstorm warnings. So we continue to watch for you guys from Pruden to Barberville. Pretty strong storms rolling through with damaging wind and possibly some small hail. I think the wind's up to 60 or 65 possible. Ben's putting a track on that. So if you are, and we're not forgetting about you folks, we're just focusing more on the tornado warning. But you can see in Middlesboro, the Hewlin community, Pathfork, Harlan, Kaywood, all in the path of this storm within the next hour as it's moving east. And so now we're going to take one more look at this storm. This is from our First Century bank camera, and we're still seeing it looks like some ragged clouds on the back end of this thing. Those are what we typically call debris clouds. So it's not debris like you would think of as far as something that's being lofted from a tornado, but this is actually just kind of scud. We call it scud clouds, and They're basically just kind of messy looking clouds. Certainly a little bit of a lowering there. There's the edge of the rain shaft, and you can see it's a pretty big thunderstorm. This is a very intense thunderstorm, very dark sky in the distance. You're probably going to see a lot of lightning from this. Ben, has the lightning count increased or decreased on this in the last few minutes? It was pretty intense earlier. It looks like it may have gone down a little bit. Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing all the old strikes, but I'm not, 70 strikes. I'm not seeing, I think earlier we had
160.
Yeah, 160. So that's another sign that the storm is weakening some. So good news there as well. So we're seeing less lightning. We're seeing a broader rotation that doesn't look like it's anything that's reaching the ground. So all very good news. Again, there is some rotation aloft with this, but if you're in Halls, Gibbs, Fountain City, back towards Strawberry Plains, just stay weather alert. Again, if you're in the tornado warning, I still want you to stay in your safe place until the warning officially expires. But for now, I think we're going to be okay with this cell. And I'm watching, National Weather Service hasn't said anything different. Again, they continue with this warning until 3:45. So we still have about 13 minutes to go with this. It's 3:32 right now. And again, the tornado warning has been canceled for southeastern Morgan and northeastern Roane counties. They canceled that a little bit ago. So you folks, as of 3:16, you are all clear. No more tornado risk for you. But if you are here in portions of northern Knox County, just kind of in central Knox, and then also into southeastern parts of Anderson County, just want you to kind of stay weather aware and stay put until this storm passes. But we're still watching it very closely. Ben, are you seeing anything else or seeing any new data coming in from anybody on that?
Yeah, I'm just asking if there are any plans to drop early. Not seeing anything new besides those kind of ragged clouds from that lowering base. I think you're getting some new info from Britt.
Yeah, it looks like it. Due to a tornado warning, this tornado warning that's in effect, all bus transportation for Anderson County School District is delayed until 3:45. So they've delayed, and that was probably a good call just because we want to get that circulation and that storm out of the area. It looks like, or until it's been determined that the storm has safely exited their county. So all students are safe and being sheltered in designated secure areas. So that is good news. So the folks in Anderson County with the Anderson County School District saying they will be delayed until 3:45. All bus transportation for Anderson County delayed until 3:45. Again, that's for another 10 minutes. Thankfully, it looks like the strongest part of this storm is moving out of Anderson County now. So we're still kind of in the southeastern edge or the eastern edge there of Anderson County, but it's really moving now just to the north of Knox County. So if you are in portions of Union, maybe Granger, Jefferson, your impacts from this storm will continue for the next 30 or 45 minutes, if not longer, as it moves northeast at about 35 miles per hour. But the impacts there in Anderson County, it looks like you folks there in northeast, it's northeast Anderson, you folks should be seeing the system winding down there if you are in portions of Anderson County. So that is good news, but just stay weather aware because this storm still has, if you could pull back up, Ben, that tornado warning real quick so we can see, they peel off the back edge of the tornado warning as the storm pushes east. So I would expect they're going to take Clinton out of that tornado warning pretty soon here. Still, it continues for Halls and Fountain City up to almost up to Andersonville. But again, if you are in portions of southwestern Anderson County, it looks like you folks are now all clear. It's really from Andersonville to Halls to Fountain City, Clinton back down to the southwest. No more issues for you. And again, if you're in areas here up towards Strawberry Plains, it looks like it may go just to your north. This strong storm, possibly severe. They may issue a severe thunderstorm warning in these areas, but they are not planning on extending the tornado warning. So that is certainly some good news. That shot on the camera, it looks like that lowering is a little bit more pronounced now on the downtown camera. I can see a little bit more of a, look at this, yeah, right there. Ben, I don't know if you have the downtown Knoxville camera pulled up where you can zoom into that,
Yeah.
that little area there. Let's just kind of get a better view of that, because I think that's kind of what you watch for when you're watching for a developing tornado. So this is a base lowering, or maybe even almost a wall cloud of sorts. I can see what looks like maybe a little bit of rotating clouds within this. That looks like that may be an inflow notch into it. You can see the heavier rain. This is all just heavy rain, maybe some pea-sized hail, but we're keeping a close eye on this area of rotation on the southwest side of this storm as it's pushing through northern Knox County. So you're looking right now to the north and kind of northwest as it's pushing through. This is generally off to the north now of parts of downtown Knoxville. Yeah, it's a little bit northwest still, but getting to be almost due north at this time. So if you are in North Knox, I want you to stay in your safe place. Again, it looks like, if I'm looking at this correctly, yeah, it's the tornado, the possible tornado is actually in the very southeast side of the tornado warning box. So it's just on the south side, looks like south side of Clinton, and it is wrapping up a little bit more in that latest scan. Yeah, we need to watch this area. Again, tornado warning continues till 3:45 for these areas now of northern Knox. So we're looking just along and west of I-75 right now. And Ben, if you want to put the rotation back on there real quick, and we'll show the velocity again and see what we're looking at. I'm seeing some pretty high winds right now in portions of, see how high is that? That is at almost 57, 60 miles an hour. So we probably have some 60 mile per hour winds right now with this area just to the east of Powell. So yeah, there might be either some high wind or some rotation here. The Dante area, this is Cherokee Ridge, Bellbridge, Ponderosa Hills. So all of these communities here just on the west side of I-75. There's a look at it right there. That's it. That is the possible rotation. That's still why they had that tornado warning until 3:45. This is about to cross over I-75 right now. So we told you about 15, 20 minutes ago that this would pass over I-75, and we didn't want anyone to drive in this area. So hopefully you're staying put until this rotation does weaken a little bit more. But again, if you're in Fountain City, this is going to come very close to you. Fountain City, this is very close to the North Knoxville Medical Center. So this is on the south side of it, crossing over I-75 right now. It looks like, to me, it is maybe trying to spin up a little bit more now than it was just a second ago. It's still broad. It's not that strong, but it's just something that we want to make sure that folks are aware that, hey, you need to stay in your safe place until the warning expires. Let's see. It looks like, okay, so they are going to expire the warning at 3:45. Are they expiring that now, Ben, or?
I think they don't want to cancel early, but we might have a little microburst northwest of Halls too.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We might have a little bit of wind. So there could, if there's nothing else here, there may be a quick downburst of wind in some of these areas as well. So even though there may not be a tornado on the ground, there could still be some wind damage, maybe some power lines out, tree damage, that sort of thing in these areas just to the north of Fountain City. So again, what Ben's pointing out here, so what's happening is the thunderstorm collapses and it spreads that wind out. And as it spreads it out, the winds hit and then go out flat along the surface, and they just spread out in all directions. So that's what we're looking at, a possible downburst there just northwest of Halls. That was that area that just crossed over I-75 and is heading toward Gibbs. And a lot of times the storm will do that, and then the storm will weaken some after it has that big downburst of winds. So yeah, we'll have to watch that area very closely for some possible damage, wind damage reports, maybe some trees or power lines, whatnot, in that area just to the north of downtown Knoxville. And again, Ben just put a track on that area. If you're in Gibbs, now 353, Blaine 409, 425 in the Newmarket area. Cherokee Lake, if it holds together, 435 for you folks. So yeah, we're watching all of those areas right now for that potential tornado warning. Are you seeing any reports on social, Ben, or anything?
I just saw, if you guys can hear me, the Clinton Utility Board is reporting about 330 power outages. Obviously, the storm was over Clinton, so about 330. Those are actually in Roane County, just across the county line. And in Clinton itself, only a couple dozen power outages so far. KUB reporting about 212 in Knox County. So nothing big as far as power outages. We might get some from KUB in the north end of town. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, but you mentioned the lightning earlier. We've seen a huge drop off in the lightning because this kind of continues to spread out a little bit. There's only 4, 5, 6 fresh lightning strikes. We also lost that blue color that was near Powell as it crossed over 75. So the wind definitely appears to be weakening quite a bit. And the wall cloud that we were watching has really kind of gone ragged, so it retreated back into the cloud. So a lot less concern. I think they just didn't want to drop this early, although there appears to be very minimal damage based on what I'm seeing so far on social, if any.
And that's good news, Ben. That's what we like to hear, because these storms have been really, and again, these could have been a little bit stronger, just the fact they're coming in the heat of the afternoon. Ahead of a big system that's back to our west. And Ben, if you want, real quick, if you can switch over to showing the bigger picture of the radar back toward Memphis. I noticed there's the main cluster, and this is the initial batch. This is round one of a couple of rounds. I already see a tornado warning down there toward, that's just toward Pulaski, Tennessee. So that's just to the east of Pulaski and over southern middle Tennessee. And I don't know if you can turn on the, and look back. Yeah, there they are. So this is the line. This is the main line that will arrive later tonight that we've been talking about between 7 and midnight. Yesterday afternoon, I started showing this first line moving through, but look at this cell here. This is a pretty nasty cell that moved through Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and then pushed to the east of I-65. So we still have a very stormy, very active night ahead as far as severe weather is concerned. We still could see a pretty good intense line, a pretty solid intense line rather, that's going to move through later on tonight. And these storms, there's the storms erupting ahead of it, and then the main line is back toward the Mississippi River. So if you can, actually I'll zoom that out while you're doing that. If I just look at this kind of as a bigger picture here, this is the initial line, and then there's the second line. So this line kind of clipping the northern part of East Tennessee. This is, again, mainly along and north of Knoxville into southeast Kentucky. It's kind of turning into a damaging wind risk right here. These storms need to be watched closely. These ones that are out ahead of this, if this one can make it into southeast Tennessee, there could be a tornado risk with this. We'll have to see what happens with that. But this is the main batch of storms as it is going to roll through later tonight. So don't let your guard down yet. Don't think, okay, we're done with the storms, we should be fine the rest of the night. You need to stay weather alert, stay tuned to the WVLT First Alert weather app. And of course, we're going to have more on these watches and warnings, because I assume we'll have at least another severe thunderstorm, if not tornado watch, later tonight. So once this one expires, north of Knoxville and north of I-40, we may have another one issued later on this evening between 7 p.m. and midnight for this big cluster that's going to come through later on. And of course, as soon as, let's see, it's 3:45, have they let that go, Ben?
Yeah, it's expiring at 3:45 here.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. That tornado warning has expired. There's no sign of it coming back at this point. So what we're going to do is join in on our normal news coverage at 3:30. We're going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back, and Ben's going to have the latest forecast. Brittany's going to have the latest news. We're watching the weather. We'll keep you advised throughout the afternoon.